Right there, bruv. How's it going? Bringing you a match against Toivo8 from the Smoke and Battle Finder. And he has definitely uploaded his side of the battle if you want to check that out in the video description. If I have forgotten, which I definitely will, let me know in the comments and I'll add it as soon as possible. But it was a pretty cool match. I brought along Lopunny, Exeggutor, and like Dustox, Shrew as my defensive core. Mixed Basculin and Sitrus Berry, Heatmore with Gluttony, which I think is a pretty decent set. But it looks like he's got a pretty bulky team. Most of it is pretty slow, apart from the Drift Blimp and possibly the Rotom, so as long as I break down the Pyrotoz and the Mantine, should be pretty good to go with something like Heatmore, but gonna go ahead and lead off with my Exeggutor. I think I did predict this because rocks and whatnot, but just gonna go for a sub on the first turn just to see what he is gonna do, and it is indeed Stealth Rock. I figured in case he has T-Wave, may as well sub on the first turn, but just gonna go for an EQ. By the way, the first time, I do this every time with Nature Power. Every time I use Nature Power, I try and put on a custom background, and it turns into Tri-Attack, and then it completely messes up the whole recording, but yeah, we gotta deal with the standard orangey brown background, but it's cool. Infinity here, got the Nature Power, Wood Hammer, Sub, and HP Ice. I was supposed to have Sitrus Berry on this thing for this game, but I think it turns out to be Custap Berry, which definitely was not that useful, but hey, whatever. In comes the Drift Blimp. Do a pretty solid chunk with the Wood Hammer. You gotta remember that Exeggutor's got like base 95 attack or something, which, to be honest, is above and beyond the attack stat of most physical sweepers I tend to use, like Golduck or something, but go into Shrew expecting him to go straight for the acrobatics, but he doesn't, he goes for sub, and then he goes for... I think I expected either Shadow Ball or Will-O-Wisp, and I figured, okay, I can just Encore him into it, that is absolutely fine. As long as he doesn't have the acrobatic speed boost, like the Unburden thing going on, that's absolutely fine. Like Lopunny can outspeed, I can go for a sub, then I can Baton Pass out, and it doesn't look like he has enough HP left for a sub there, so, you know, Baton Pass out. Drift Blimp is no longer a threat in my mind, so just gonna go straight out to my Exeggutor. Probably should have gone to Heatmore now that I look back at it, but you know, I guess I got the HP Ice, so I can do some pretty good damage to the Rotom. But obviously next turn I am going to be threatened out by an Air Slash, so yeah, I reckon Heatmore probably was the best choice there. So now I switch, go to set Heatmore, and I think, okay, well I can take an Air Slash, and then activate my Sitrus Berry and then go for a little sweep from there. Well, not a sweep, but try and do some damage from there, that's what I'm saying. So I get my Sitrus Berry, but it turns out I should have known this, he is Choice Scarf, because he definitely did need the speed on the team, so what do you expect? So Heatmore goes down. Now I can go into your boy, Billy Bass. Gonna go for an Ice Beam right off the bat, because I thought he would go into Mantine, and I wanted to get some damage on it at least. But no, it turns out he stays in. I just kill it off there. But he's brought me down to a range where I've only got one more Life Orb hit left after this. 1 HP, look at that, Billy Bass hanging in there by a thread. In comes the Whiscash. I don't know why he did this at all, but I just go for a Surf, and that's going to kill whatever comes in. If Mantine came in, I wouldn't have taken Life Orb Recall, so that wouldn't be a problem. But he probably should have brought in Mantine anyway. I guess maybe he was scouting for, like, Crunch or something? Who knows? But now he goes into his Golem as I go into my Exeggutor. Now, although it looks like a good matchup, like I said, I don't have my Sitrus Berry because I derped and forgot to put it on there. So I don't think I can take a Sucker Punch. So I figure, okay, go to Shrew Manchu. I can hopefully just Rapid Spin away the rocks and then threaten this thing with an Earthquake. In comes Pyrotoz. Now this thing was trolling me the entire game, and it's mostly my fault from my plays, but he goes for a Flash Cannon just to get some damage off. I believe I'll just go for the Rapid Spin this turn. How the hell does Pyrotoz outspeed Shrew? Maybe I'm thinking of Tentacle. Tentacle outspeeds most walls. Shrew probably doesn't. Okay, fair enough. Right, so it gets me down to about 50% with the Flash Cannon. Now I go to my Lopunny expecting him to go to Mantine, expecting my Earthquake, but it turns out he's staying in, just trying to take out my Shrew, I guess. And this bit's kind of derp, it's just me going for Encore, him going for Flash Cannon. It takes him 2 Flash Cannons to break the sub, So I figure if I just sub up on this turn, and then I can pass it off to something to threaten him out. Problem is, all the while he's getting lefties, and he's pretty much gained like 50% health back from what he was, which is definitely not good, because now I have to go into Exeggutor. I have to get some damage off on this thing, otherwise it's never going to die. So I'll bat pass out, go to Exeggutor, standing at around 20%-ish health, so I'm pretty sure a Flash Cannon is going to kill from there if he decides to go for it. But I go for an EQ, that is going to almost take this thing down, but I guess it is physically defensive because Mantine's the special wall. So yeah, I'm going to go down to a Flash Cannon, but he is down to a range where I can definitely kill him with, like, Shrew or... I can't remember who else I've got left. I think Shrew is my only way of killing this now, because Dustox is there, Lopunny's there, so... You know, I'm definitely not in a particularly strong position. Somehow out of speed there, I guess it was a speed tie, but I figured, okay, I'll get up the rocks because it might come in handy. And I was still thinking he would go to Mantine at this point. I kept predicting Mantine, but this turn I think, alright, we're going to go for Earthquake, see what happens. And take out the Probopass, which is nice. Win the second speed tie there. So down it goes, that Nigel Thornberry thing. In comes the Mantine. Glad I got the rocks up because it does give me a little head start on the Mantine there. But inevitably, Sandshrews got to die. Ain't got nothing better to take it, so... Next turn, I'm pretty much relying on Dustox Toxic stalling the rest of his team. He has Mantine, which can't even touch Dustox. He can't even flinch me or burn me because of the Shield Dust ability. But he has a Whiscash, which is kind of a threat. Whiscash is likely to have Dragon Dance, Stone Edge, Earthquake, Waterfall. So I've got to play carefully around this, like... Toxic that thing, go to Lopunny, stall for a bit maybe. We'll see how it works out. But he's going for Scald, trying to get the burn. Little does he know, Dustox cares not for Scald burns. No, Shield Dust is probably one of the best abilities in the NU tier, in my opinion. Magic Guard's better. Kadabra of Magic Guard. Definitely got to try that sometime, but... In comes the Whiscash, goes for a Zen Headbutt, and just takes me out from there. I'm specially defensive, so I was never going to take that. So, it's down to Lopunny. Can Lopunny beat a Whiscash and a Mantine with no attacking moves? Can it be done? I've seen weirder things happen. It can be done. Go for a sub. He goes for an Earthquake, and that's obviously going to break the sub. But he has Life Orb, he has Poison. I can hopefully pull some kind of comeback here. How am I going to take down Mantine when he has only Scald as his only attack? An Air Slash? Well, how do I take down a Mantine with copycat Air Slashes? That's the real issue here. I can potentially take this thing out, but Mantine's going to be the main problem. So I go for an Earthquake. That is going to do a decent little chunk of damage. Lol, I joke, it did nothing, and Lopunny's going to die here to an Earthquake. Hey, what do you expect? Lopunny doesn't have any attacking moves, of course he was going to die there. So, I thought that was a pretty good game nonetheless. Whiscash would die in one more turn. Mantine was the only one left after that, so I consider that a good game. I thought it was pretty close. If only I'd played Heat more better, I might have had a better chance, but... Yeah, that was the game. Hope you all enjoyed. Last of Us multiplayer, I'm definitely uploading some more of that, because that game is just brilliant. Even in the multiplayer, which I thought would be pretty crap in comparison to the single player. It is, to be fair. Like, the single player is great, but... Multiplayer, I actually like it. I prefer it to COD at the moment, and definitely going to bring you some more of that, so... Hope you all enjoyed, and with said being that... I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.